Hi, welcome to My Favorite Mistake. I'm your host, Mark Graven. Our guest today is Wiebke Tasch. She is a publishing strategist and founder of Digital Authors. She's helped nonfiction authors across the US and Europe turn their expertise into professionally published, market ready books. Her approach treats publishing as a system where positioning, structure, and design matter as much as the writing itself. So, as an author, I'm excited to have a chance to talk about that here in the episode. But first off, Wiebke, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very good. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, before we talk about the changing landscape of writing and publishing books, including the impact of AI and other technologies, we'll get into that later on. But first things first, the question we always ask and talk about first on the show, Vibka, what's your favorite mistake?
Yeah, my favorite mistake is actually the biggest mistake I did in publishing, and
Mhm.
it ended up being a good thing because without this mistake, I never would have my company today. I think I
Okay.
would go a like totally different life path. So, um, 8 years ago, I uh So I'm from Germany, I'm from
Mhm.
Berlin, and I finished my master degree at the Bauhaus University, which was fantastic. And after this, I went traveling, which you do as a German usually, you have a gap year, etc. Went traveling, and then stayed a few months in the US, and then had like a work and holiday visa in Canada. And so overall was like almost 2 years, in North America. Um, and came back to Germany, to Berlin, and I just knew, okay, I don't want to do this like 9 to 5 thing in Germany. And I think I just turned 30. And I'm like, okay, I researched how can I make money online? And I saw writing, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, I love writing. So I started writing a book in German and I had like zero expectation because I just loved writing. And so I wrote a book within 3 months, uploaded it in Amazon.
Uh-huh.
I wrote it under a pen name because it was kind of like a woman self-help book, and I was, like, super embarrassed about it, so I didn't want
Yeah.
to know. So I've published it under a pen name and, put some money into it after a few months, in, like, editing and the cover design, and somehow the sales increased, and it really became a thing, and
Mhm.
after 18 months, I was actually a bestseller.
Okay.
It was amazing, and
Mhm.
I started also writing under my own name, and so my thinking back then was, "Okay, I'm publishing under pen name, which means I open, like, one account in Amazon for my pen name, and then I publish under my civil name, Wiebke Tasch, and so I need to open another account on
Mhm.
Amazon to publish my books under my normal name," which I did, and I played around a little bit with self-publishing, etcetera, and I had,
Mhm.
like, 2 accounts, and this was okay for, like, 18 months.
Mhm.
And I think I made, like, between 800 and 1,200 euros per month, which
Mhm.
I could live really comfortably. Um, and I decided, "Okay, I'm gonna quit my job. I don't wanna do
Mhm.
this more." And back then, I worked, like, in a PR agency, and I didn't like that, so I
Yeah.
just thought, "Yeah, I'm gonna, like, go full in writing and publishing and maybe move to Thailand and live in a
Yeah.
sheep and whatnot." But one morning, I woke up, got an email from Amazon, and this email was very hard to read, I can tell you,
Mhm.
very hard because it says, "So you" no, what was this? Like, it said something like, "This is against our guideline." They didn't say the reason, they just said, "We gonna delete or we deleted your book.
Ah.
Everything is gone." And I think I was under shock. I think I didn't
Yeah.
realize what's happening. And before this, I was also kind of like, I checked every day on my Amazon and see the book increase and more sales came in, and I kind of was addicted checking,
Yeah.
both at once.
Guilt. Yeah. I have it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I started researching what did I wrong, and then I
Mm.
tried like contact Amazon in Seattle, Amazon in Germany and Munich. Nobody answered me. It
Mhm.
was like, yeah, you did a mistake. Done. It's like,
And it was, and all they said was you violated a
yeah,
policy.
yeah, you violated our, terms and conditions. And
Yeah.
I like, what did I freaking do? I don't
Right. Right.
understand.
Right.
So I figured out at the end because it's not allowed for one person to have two accounts. Even if you write under your own name and under your pen name, you need to have like one account,
Yeah.
and it's not allowed to have two accounts. And so I had two accounts, and I always was like looking in, looking out daily on two accounts.
Oh. Mhm.
And they thought I'm spam. I don't know. This was really hard, and I to this day I can't understand why Amazon don't has like a person behind this and understands this is honestly like a very innocent mistake.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not spam, and I didn't did it on purpose and want to like violate the terms and conditions.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me wonder, like, what could you do wrong with two accounts other than, I don't know, like user A writes a review for user B and vice versa? Or I don't know, like, what advantage Amazon would think you had with two
Yeah,
accounts. So it doesn't make sense.
it does make sense, right? Like it's like, and also when like a person behind this in a customer service department from Amazon sees it, I would think, oh yeah, it's a innocent mistake. Let's open her account again, or like asked her, can you please just put everything in one account?
Sure. Sure.
Like give you a second chance. But this was just no,
Right.
you're out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I make good money, I just quit my job. And the
Mhm.
funny thing is, I just like a week before I had like my first YouTube interview, you know, to do like marketing. And then the next week it came out and everybody asked me, oh, that's so great. And I just told one friend, and it was like so hard. And like I knew I had 3 months to figure something out because Amazon always pays out 3 months later.
Mhm.
It was, uh, you know, I still had
At
three
least they
months.
didn't say we're going to stop paying you. They just
Yeah.
remove the books from being on sale. Okay.
Yeah. But my income was gone. And
Yeah.
I tried to publish the book under like different distributors. So I was like working day and night to find a way to get my income back and get the
Mhm.
momentum. But to be honest, I never did.
Yeah.
I tried so many different ways, not using Amazon, but I couldn't. I could not get,
Yeah.
this book up and selling. And then I was also, because this book was really good and I made a lot of money, and it like increased constantly. So another person copied me, like almost stole the exact title.
Yeah.
But Amazon deleted my book. And now, like, just talking about it, maybe this was someone, I don't know. It's a conspiracy, but
Yeah. Right.
my book was gone. There was a similar book now with almost my title, same subject. And yeah, it was just gone.
Mm.
Today, looking back at it, it was actually a good thing because after, like, in the 3 months, I had this interview came out, and so people came to me and asked, "Oh, this is amazing! You published your book. You didn't need a publisher. How did you do it?" And so I started teaching those people
Mhm.
how I did. Like the format, what's important, editing, how to hire an editor, keywords, cover
Mhm.
design, but the upload, etc. So it just then became like my side gig
Yeah.
to get some income in. Yeah.
And I imagine a large part of what you're coaching people on is to avoid an Amazon problem. Because I mean, there are so many different rules. I mean, I'm certainly not an expert on the rules, but technically speaking, I mean, there are rules such as, like, I think I'm paraphrasing the rules, of course, but, if you are a published author, you are not supposed to write reviews or rate other people's books. If you know the person who wrote the book, you're not supposed to write a rating or a review. And honestly, I mean, those rules get violated all the time because, within professional circles, people don't know about the rules and they're either writing a review to help their friends or they legitimately like the book. And I mean, it seems like, if Amazon, if their approach is one strike and you're out, we all need to be really careful to not violate any of the rules.
Yeah, Amazon is so harsh, like so harsh. And I get it. There's a lot of like sheeps out there, using the system and just
Mhm,
uploading um low quality content, or
mhm,
like all those like diaries and journals and stuff. And now with AI, it's even
mhm.
more, Um However, but regards the rule to the reviews, actually, if you buy the book, you can leave a review, even if you published
Okay.
also.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's why nobody should, yeah, everyone should go. I should go back and look at the rules myself. And I guess my advice to other
Yeah.
authors would be to go and look at those rules. But it's certainly, there's a long list of rules. And it seems like, I mean, I don't in the US anyway, the expression ignorance of the law is not a defense. You
Same in
know,
German, yeah.
we all may break a law every day, not knowing about it. Um, yeah, I guess as authors, Amazon is so dominant. We have to be, I guess one of the key lessons there is to be super careful, or is part of your advice to make sure that you're trying to do things to sell books through your own website, going through printer distributor options that are not only Amazon.
Yeah. So, just something again, like one important thing about reviews, because yesterday a client of mine visited me and we had a cup of tea and talked about her book. And she showed me an email. Um, And a lot of published authors get those emails and saying, "Hey, I saw your book on Amazon." And playing a little bit with fear and say your position is wrong, the keywords
Mhm,
not ranking. Um, Here is our service. Amazon really need the views. If you don't have enough reviews
mhm,
or reviews under 10, Amazon is ignoring you, which is not true.
mhm.
Amazon don't care about reviews. It just cares about the traffic.
So
And yeah, and then they say, "Yeah, we offer you can buy some reviews from us." Blah,
okay,
blah, blah. Never do this.
that
Like, yeah,
right. That I mean that just on the surface sounds unethical. And secondly, that violates the Amazon rules. And
yeah.
yeah.
But those emails, like my client yesterday showed it to me, those emails looking so good, like long emails, and then, "Oh, we love your book. It's so great. We believe in it." Um, Blah, blah, blah. I'm playing a little bit with fear. And if you
Mhm,
don't know, and if you don't really understand like the SEO research behind and everything, you believe it because you don't
mhm.
have the data. And then
Yeah.
I went actually with her yesterday. There suggested some keywords, and I said, "Okay, let's open my software." We went over it, and all the keywords were shit.
Mhm.
It was
Okay.
so
Wow.
bad, like very bad. There's no
Mhm,
traffic behind it, no demand, competition are very high. Like it's just spam. And so I would encourage every published author get those emails, just
mhm.
ignore it. Like
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's it's frustrating to hear of you, it's frustrating to hear your story or others who might, feel like they were wronged by Amazon when, you talk about low content books. So I mean, there is this category of, like you said, books that have a lot of blank pages that, okay, you buy this and you're supposed to be writing things, what have you. But what I would call low quality content, like in my professional circles, is you see a lot of copycat books that have a title very similar to a best-selling book, a name that is like borrowing the last name of somebody very well known, but putting a different first name on there. And you do some Googling or look on LinkedIn, and you're like, clearly, this is not a real person. Now, it's different than a pen name over, let's say, a sensitive, topic or different privacy reasons. This seems like people that are just, kind of just trying to take advantage of somebody else's name or confusion or someone does a search. And, I've looked at some of these books and they read like, I mean, this was even before AI was real common 5 or 6 years ago. The books read like you had taken an English book, translated it to German in an automated way, translated it to Turkish, and then translated it back to English. Like the words were all English, but it's just, you're like, this is a very low quality book, and they have a suspicious number of 5-star reviews, all within the same 2 or 3 day window. And I'm like, this seems obviously like a poor quality book, but I guess if it sells, Amazon is okay with it. That frustrates me.
This is so true. Yeah. I don't get it really. Like Amazon, I don't. So when this happened to me, I started researching who does the decision, who decide, okay, this book is spam and this is not. And so what I found out was, and so this was like 2019. So it's yeah, some moons ago. What I found out back then is like Amazon um, s- outsource. Sorry,
Yeah, outsourced.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, sometimes my head. So Amazon outsource their customer service to like countries like Pakistan or
Mhm.
India, and then people who actually approve something like this. So when someone comes and says, "Hey, my books are deleted, my account is deleted, or my account is blocked. Why is it? Can you please look behind this?" And then it ends on the table from someone in Pakistan or India, and they actually get a fine when they approve it. So they actually get like less money when they approve it. This was like
Yeah.
2019, and I
Yeah.
was really into it.
Yeah.
And there's actually in the United States somewhere, this happens a lot with like also Amazon sellers, not just like authors on KDP, also Amazon sellers. And there's like a profession behind it, like lawyers who like specialize only helping Amazon sellers
Mhm.
who Amazon refuses to open their accounts again, and they did nothing wrong. And
Yeah.
like the whole system behind it, it it's kind of toxic. I don't know. And like I also don't understand why some books who are clearly like low content, low quality, like spam, and someone just take advantage of someone else and content, why those books stay open, and from someone like me who just did like an innocent accident and didn't know better, they were so harsh and there was no second chance.
Right.
I don't get it, and I don't
Yeah.
understand into behind it, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon is so big and they're so dominant in markets, not just books and publishing. I mean, even as a customer of Amazon retail operations in the US, if there's a problem, it's very difficult to find, live human support. Yeah, I think you can find a phone number, but they certainly don't make it easy for somebody to call. They want to put you toward live chat, and a lot of that is probably AI chat here in the year 2026,
Yeah.
like a lot of companies do. But yeah, I mean, it's scary to think that. And I think the key lesson learned is to not be so tied to a platform that you don't control. Like I had a guest on this show maybe 4 years ago or more, where she was a jewelry designer and very popular products, but 100% of her sales were through one of the TV shopping channels. And when they stopped their partnership with her, she had zero access to any customer information or data, and she had to really start from the beginning, even just to try to think of how do you let you how, if she had loyal customers and she was no longer on that TV shopping channel, how would she even find them or let them know that she was still alive, she was still in business, she still had jewelry to sell, but had to figure out how to start again.
Yeah.
Similar cautionary tale, I think.
Yeah. This is actually the reason today when I help people publishing books and like we specialized in nonfiction books.
Mhm.
We always at the end of the book and in the beginning, we inviting the readers to join the community of the authors to make sure, you really connect. And then we not only publish on Amazon, 'cause,
Right.
lesson learned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have actually like a network of 50,000 bookstores, online bookstores, and independent bookstores in the US and Europe, Australia, New Zealand, etc. Um, and yeah, we always try to bring the reader back to the author to build the
Mhm.
community. Which is super important. Like I always, encourage when you publish a book, like put your email in, maybe even create something like a Facebook group and gather those people
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there data or even anecdotally, do you know, like, how many authors end up in a similar situation as yours each year? Is that increasing? I mean, do you get, I mean, Amazon isn't going to publish these numbers, but do you have an increasing number of authors reaching out to you for help and support over this? Because, the one thing, if this happened to me, well, first thing I would do is Google, what do you do? What kind of help? I'm sure, especially if, for German web searches or even beyond that, your website would come up. I mean, I'm asking a question that's really hard to answer, I guess, but what do you think anyway?
Um, it's a good question. So when it's happened to me, I obviously also started researching and Googling, and I found, some blog articles from authors um, who this happened to them. But it's never happened to the authors I worked with.
Mhm.
I never heard it personally, like in, the 8 years since I'm doing it. And I love this question. I'm wondering too, is this like increased or decreased? I feel the Amazon customer service got better since the
Mhm.
pandemic. And I feel there's like better people behind it now because more people started publishing through Amazon, especially like
Mhm.
2020. So I kind of feel Amazon improved the customer service. And like what I noticed when something happened with the authors I work with, when we worked with the customer service department, it was actually good. It was nothing, out of the ordinary. So I think it's improved actually,
Yeah.
what I see.
Yeah, and especially around the pen name situation, it seemed like there are different ways they could try to communicate that, or make clear that you can publish in the same account under different names, or again, like if they detect somebody has violated that rule, reach out and let somebody correct it, even initially while the book is being set up, if they're checking IP addresses or
Yeah.
or other ways to identify. But I did a quick Google search. Google AI here says, the most common reasons for getting banned would include intellectual property
Mhm.
infringement, Kindle Unlimited violations, where if you're supposed to have an exclusive ebook because they give you special benefits for doing that and they catch you selling it elsewhere, that's a rule I could see people violating, maybe out of ignorance, maybe thinking they could get away with it. It does list, unfortunately, your situation, Vipka, multiple KDP accounts.
Mhm.
And then there's things like, paying for reviews, misleading content. I see a lot of people, they put out these garbage summaries of a very popular book, which I think is taking advantage of, somebody's intellectual property, or at least their name and reputation. Or, there's rules like, abusing keywords, or, keyword
Mhm.
stuffing, or, you're not supposed to use another author's name as a keyword, things like that. So, I mean, some of those things maybe sound, again, like obviously unethical, or somebody who's trying too hard to game the system, as opposed to, again, like I fail to see what the harm was in a situation like yours.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I just wished there is like a human behind it and sent an email like, "Hey, we noticed, can you explain?" And then I bet like half or more than half of people who like accidentally violated the Amazon rules would say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know." And like, yeah, I'm gonna do better. Because it's also like good like benefits Amazon when it's like in my case, book was selling good and like
Right.
now they're getting also money from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even think of an example. Netflix gives people a warning if they think, you're sharing your password and you got
Mhm,
somebody in another location watching a movie the same time as you are. Because I mean, Netflix doesn't want to ban the customer; they want to turn one customer into two. So I think they at
mhm,
least give some warnings and some opportunity. And then
yeah,
I think they have technical reason uh, abilities to block, some streams. But yeah, it
yeah.
doesn't seem like that was a decision that was smart for Amazon's revenue.
I mean, when they blocked my account, like, so I couldn't publish books anymore, but I was still allowed to shop on Amazon, which I found, like I'm not shopping on Amazon anymore. Right.
Right. Yeah. So we talk about technology. Let's talk about some of these other, issues related to new technologies and things that go well, or mistakes that authors might make. Are there common mistakes you see these days? And authors are using AI tools to either write or assist or edit, or what are either some bad practices that end up hurting an author, even if it doesn't get you banned from Amazon?
Yeah. The writing, like, especially ChatGPT. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I begin to explain how many like the same wording I see,
Mhm.
Um, and even like what was it, like a month ago, it happened in 1 week. I got like a manuscript from an author and went over it, and I already saw like, okay, it's too too much ChatGPT in here because it's like always the same sentence structure.
Mhm.
It's not you, it's this, etc. And then it's
Let's not
always
into that. There's certain phrases that ChatGPT in particular loves to use.
yeah. And also it's like it's not a chapter anymore. It's just like one sentence after another. It's kind of like a, social media post, which is horrible for the layout because it doesn't look good anymore. Um, and yeah, it's the same wording and everything. And it's kind of, it's missing, you can see it. And I really feel if people and I see it if people rely too much on ChatGPT and like Claude and whatnot, people getting tired of it very fast and even probably starting making fun of it. Oh, again, a book like this, and it's like the same wording, and it's the same. So this is very crucial, and I feel if you really invest money in publishing a book, if you like hire a service like ours with like editing and everything and design, then also make sure your book is written by you and not
Mhm.
AI. And you can use AI as a wonderful tool like for proofreading and editing
Mhm.
ideas when you're stuck, but like using your own voice, using
Yeah.
your own knowledge, and even sometimes your brain goes very fast and like your hands can't tip everything.
Mhm.
To code yourself and then put
Sure.
it in ChatGPT and say like proofread it. Don't change the
Mhm.
sentence I just said. Just proofread it
Yeah.
and gather ideas like this. But don't just use it as your writing tool. Use it
Yeah.
as support for your writing.
Yeah. And yeah, asking, I mean, there have been tools. I mean, the simplest tool, going back to say, Microsoft Word, spell check, which became
Mhm.
grammar check, which becomes now, more the AI grammar tools that can even detect, hey, you've used the wrong version of a word. You spelled it correctly. Things like that probably lead to a better quality product. If we'd probably all find it easier to read something that doesn't have huge punctuation issues or, something that would be hard even for a professional copy editor to catch. And so it sounds like, there are some ways of using AI as just an extension of, I guess, a reasonably accepted method. Like, I don't think anyone ever attacked authors for using spell check, I'm guessing.
That's true. And also, we are humans. I mean, there's an AI hype and it's exciting because, AI can help us with a lot of things, but still we are human and we want to hear human stories. We want to read real human experience, some pitfalls, some stories about an author who's stuck somewhere and how they get out of there. And, we just want to hear the pure human experience. And so AI can't replace it. AI can help us to, bring like some structure into it, but it never can replace our human voice. And so everyone who's going to write a book, please remember this, like human want to read human stories.
Yeah.
Stories is this what's going to stick with other readers. So like always use your own experience.
Yeah.
Trust yourself first, and also
Mhm.
don't listen too much to AI because sometimes, ChatGPT, like the advice, it's just too general. It's like the average of the average. So always listen to yourself. Um, has like one very good writing tip. So in the morning, when you get up, block yourself like 1 hour of your time in the morning. Make yourself a coffee, use the bathroom and just go to your desk and start writing.
Yeah.
Do this every morning just for 1 hour. Do not check your email, no
Mhm.
phone, nothing, no television. Just be with yourself. Your thoughts in the morning are still fresh. Your brain is clear and just go for it and write your story. And also don't use AI. Just, plug out this 1 hour, you and the paper,
Yeah.
or like your computer and do nothing else. And this is like, believe me, this is so good. And then your book is going to be fantastic.
And maybe turn off your Wi-Fi if you need to,
Yeah.
just to
Just,
not be interrupted or to not,
mhm.
have the temptation to go and search or Google something or procrastinate or all the things that maybe get an author distracted or slow you down. Um, when you talk about, the writing process and mistakes that we can avoid, you talk about the structure of a book as being a really a strategic decision. And I'd be curious to hear how that goes beyond just sitting down and writing an outline.
Yeah. So what I do with every author I work with, so we always do like a free market analysis for everybody who's interested, because we're going to check, what is the market demand? Like, are people were really searching for this topic? Is there enough people buying it? So, like, there's some profit behind it and it's worth it. And then if the competition is low enough, so like a first time author has enough space to occupy this niche. And so we gonna usually I just did like a market analysis yesterday, and usually I do like 7 angles and look at it. And yesterday I did 10. Um, we always look at like what are people searching for, what is the pain point, what is their concern, and how the author can solve it, and see, the market demand, and then using like the market analysis, using those data and, like, from there, writing an outline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sort of hear you saying is, and instead of thinking, well, here's what I want to write, that it's helpful to think about, well, what is the reader looking for and how is this going to benefit the reader?
100%. This is
Yeah.
such an important turning point. Not just
Mhm,
like, okay,
mhm.
what is important to me? It's more like, okay, what can I offer to people? How can I help them? And, like, check if there is really demand. Are people really searching for this topic? And be honest to yourself. Do I have the knowledge and can serve this or not? You know,
Yeah.
it's also important.
Yeah. Um, what are some of the either marketing mistakes or the marketing practices that an author should utilize to make sure? I mean, there's so many books, there's so much competition. There are, a lot of books with great content that maybe just don't find the market that they could potentially find. What are some of your recommendations around, not just writing a helpful book, but getting it out there and having it be found?
Yeah. Um, there's a few things. First of all, start marketing before you publish.
Mhm.
Put some marketing into it, some traffic before you publish. I love going on a podcast tour. This is the best marketing approach,
Mhm.
to talk about your book, as you probably know.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
worked with, sorry to interrupt. I worked with a PR firm some years ago that really specialized with authors. And they said people want to go on television. Like that seems exciting and that might be good for your ego. But they said people who listen to the radio and people who listen to podcasts, they buy more books.
yeah, because you have to sit down, listen like 30 minutes to an hour to someone, like concentrate. And those people usually also enjoying books for sure.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
more like the long form content than like the social media and short form content for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like prepare your marketing. Don't just so the biggest mistake ever is you finish your book and then you tell nobody and then
Yeah.
you just publish it and then hope for the best. So this is really uh the biggest mistake. And it's the biggest mistake because the online algorithm for bookstores, like Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, work like this. The first 5 days of when you publish your book, it's kind of like a blueprint for everything what follows from there because the
Mhm.
algorithm recognized how much traffic you bring to your book in those first 5 days. Remember this, and then in the future, always based on those 5 days, either suggest your book in your
Mhm.
niche or not. So
Yeah.
this is why preparation is so important. And we usually like at least do 3 months, like when we have everything done, cover layout, proofreading, everything is done. The upload, we always say at least 3 months for the author to only concentrate on marketing and like
Mhm.
things for marketing every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day a little bit. And even before everything is done, we always encourage like, okay, now it's a good time to start like talking about your book, going on a podcast tour, already have like a landing page for
Mhm.
everything. And then on the day of the book launch, bring a lot of traffic to your book.
Yeah.
Another very big mistake I see is changing your strategy constantly. You
Mhm.
know, it's like this week you do this, it's not working. Next week you do this, it's not working. Um, or then you think, oh, maybe I published it wrong, and yet then you want to change the foundation, and like it's do decide what you're going to do as a strategy. Don't
Mhm.
overdo it, like just do one thing and then do it every day and stick with it and have some
Yeah.
patience. It's not something like it's never an overnight success. It's always, you do a lot of work
Mhm.
for a period of time and then grow like slowly but surely. This is how it goes usually. And so stick with one thing, go on a podcast tour, do like a very good publishing, prepare the book launch, and then do Amazon ads.
Yeah. The final question I was going to ask is, how important I see some books where it seems like the author or the publisher didn't put a lot of effort into the book description that appears right there on the Amazon page. How important is it to, I mean, I imagine like the skill to write the book might not be the same skill that would write an effective book description. How important is the description and let's say the keywords that you're allowed to use in the KDP platform?
So important. It's
Yeah.
kind of just think about how it works, self-publishing a book, because people can't find you if you just put in some random words who are not matching your book content. Like, it's obviously so you need to understand what your book is about and then optimize using a software and to put in like high performing keyword. And in
Mhm.
Amazon, it's like 7 keywords are allowed. And then using those 7 keywords and creating like an optimized sales text. And this is, first of all, it needs to look good, like a catchy header to like, bring people in, something like, are you looking for this? Or do you know this? Or since years this and this has happened, or something like people can recognize themselves in it. And then structure it nice, maybe bring in some bullet points. So like if you're buying this book, you learn this, this, this. And at the end, always put like a call to action.
Yeah.
And so we come back to this, like always bring the readers back to you, to your community, to your Facebook group or Instagram or to your website, wherever you gather those people on landing page, and always make it easy for people to follow up with you and understand where you come from. So
Mhm. Yeah.
important.
Well, those are great tips, and I'll encourage people look in the show notes so you can find Vipka's firm's website. It's digital authors, digital-authors.com. It's a US based company, even though, like she said, she's German. There's a team, people with different specialties working with her, and there's a lot of info that you can find there. So again, check out the show notes, and there's a lot to learn. I try to continue learning as an author and as I would say an independent publisher. The last couple of books, I think the term self-publishing is a misnomer because I didn't do it myself. That might be, maybe that's one other mistake to end on. It's a mistake probably to do it yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Yeah, I don't like
Right.
the term self-publishing because
Yeah.
there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah. And being able to write a book probably doesn't mean you're skilled at designing a cover, and cliche otherwise, people do judge a book by its cover, right?
It's important for sure.
So don't make that mistake. So again, well, thank you, Wiebke. Wiebke Tasch has been our guest today. So much to learn as things change and evolve, and some of it's just good book publishing and marketing practices. So thank you for sharing all of that, and thank you for sharing your favorite mistake. It yeah, it hurts to think about that possibly happening to me. I'm sorry that happened to you, and hopefully your advice, I'm sure it's helping others. So thank you for all of that feedback.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark. It was a wonderful conversation, and I also wish you all the best for your podcast.
Well, thanks.